At 35, the latest ATO table puts average super at about $91,000. But the middle person in that same table has about $69,000. That is a $22,000 gap before anyone's life has changed. Sam has $80,000. The average stamps Sam behind. The median puts Sam above the middle. Same balance, opposite verdict. So which number gets to call you behind? Today we'll test 30, 35 and 40 against Australian super, income and household wealth data, and show why none of those numbers can judge a financial life on its own. Quick note, this is general information, not financial advice. These figures come from different official datasets, periods and population groups, which will stay labelled on screen. They describe Australians in those datasets. They are not personal targets or a judgment about anyone's financial life. Here is the distinction that changes the whole video. The average adds every value and divides by the size of the group. The median lines everyone up and finds the observation in the middle. If 4 households sit close together and a fifth owns far more, the average follows that fifth household upwards. The middle barely moves. The average is not wrong. It answers a different question. In these Australian figures, it sits 9 to 19% above the median for personal income, and roughly a third higher for super. The wealth gap becomes much wider. So average does not mean typical. But median does not mean target. It only tells us where the middle sits. Now the age ladder can do something more useful than hand out red stamps. At 30, the official averages look like a neat scorecard. About $54,000 in super, $69,000 in personal income, and $441,000 in net worth. Then the labels arrive. The super figure is an individual average for ages 30 to 34. Its matched median is about $40,000. Income is a person measure for ages 25 to 34. Its average is $69,000 and its median is $63,000. It is total identifiable income before tax, not simply salary. But the $441,000 wealth figure belongs to an entire household whose reference person is age 30 to 34. ABS does not publish a directly matched 5-year median beside it. The first red stamp cracks because the RAL quietly changed from a person to a household. A solo 30-year-old is not failing because a household average includes couples, 2 super accounts and home equity. Same age, wrong opponent. At 35, the averages rise to $91,000 in super, $93,000 in personal income, and $555,000 in household net worth. But Sam's $80,000 super balance is still the useful test. It sits below the average and above the $69,000 median. The income median is also lower than its average, at about $78,000. The opening figures were accurate. They just did not describe one typical 35-year-old. They combined an individual balance, a person's income, and an entire household's wealth. Sam can sit above the middle on super, below it on income, and be compared with a household structure that looks nothing like Sam's. That is not one mixed score. It is 3 different questions. The second red stamp does not crack. It flips. At 40, average super is about $134,000, with a median near $100,000. Average household net worth rises to $841,000. But income does not move. It stays at a $93,000 average and $78,000 median. That is not a mistake. Ages 35 and 40 sit inside the same published 35 to 44 income band. Creating a special number for exactly 40 would mean inventing precision the source does not contain. An age band can locate the financial neighborhood. It cannot supply one exact address for every person inside it. So the third red stamp breaks differently. The title gives us useful signposts. The evidence gives us honest age bands, not 3 birthday targets. But the household wealth figures still look enormous. That is where the red stamp finally gives up. To compare average and median wealth, honestly, we need to switch to the broader age bands where ABS publishes both. For households with a reference person, aged 25 to 34, average net worth was about $354,000. The median was about $176,000. The average was just over twice the median. For ages 35 to 44, the average was about $693,000. The median was $401,000, a gap of 73%. This is not proof that the middle household forgot a hidden pile of money. Wealth is unevenly distributed, and the word household is doing a lot of work. One same-age household may be a single renter. Another may be a couple combining 2 super balances, savings and home equity, while also carrying a large mortgage. The second household can show much more net worth without having twice the disposable income, half the stress, or a universally better life. That is why average household wealth is the most dramatic number here and the least transferable to one viewer. A household comparison cannot give an individual a red or green verdict. There is also an honest date problem. These matched ABS wealth figures are from 2019 to 20. That is older than I would like, but the planned 2023 to 24 results were not released because they did not meet ABS standards. Newer official averages use a different national accounts method, so swapping them in would not create a clean updated median. The honest choice is to show the limitation, not hide it. So is comparison useless? No. It becomes useful once every number keeps 4 labels: who, what unit, which years, and what age band. The ATO super table combines matched accounts at the individual level, but excludes people with a 0 balance and no current year contribution. The income data cover people with identifiable income in the tax system and include more than wages. The wealth figures describe households, grouped by one reference person's age. And none of these tables follow Sam from 30 to 35 to 40. They are snapshots of different groups at different times. The latter is a comparison, not a forecast. The average can show the scale of a group. The median can show its middle. Both can describe position. Neither knows the goal, household structure, career breaks, debt cost, or time available. That is why the free benchmark page keeps every lane separate. A viewer might sit above the median on super, below it on income, rent by choice, and carry very little expensive debt. 4 useful facts cannot be compressed into one honest grade. Which leaves one last mistake: treating today's position as tomorrow's direction. Take 2 people who both sit on the age 35 median super balance of $69,200. One may have regular contributions, falling expensive debt, and decades for compounding. The other may be on a career break, carrying higher cost debt, or needing money sooner. The relevant movement might be super contributions, debt reduction, a stronger cash buffer, home equity, or simply more time. None of those needs a target borrowed from a stranger on the internet. The starting dot is identical. The direction is not. No national average can see those paths, and no median can tell either person where they need to finish. Position is a photograph. Direction is the part that moves. So, are you actually behind at 30, 35, or 40? Compared with the average, perhaps. Compared with the median, perhaps not. But neither answer proves whether a person is on track. Below average does not automatically mean below typical. Below median does not mean failure. And above either number does not mean the plan is working. A fair comparison keeps three things separate: like-for-like position, the life that position belongs to, and the direction it is moving. Average is not typical. Median is not a target. Direction is what makes the number personal. If you want Australian money decisions explained with real numbers and honest caveats, subscribe to the Next Dollar Australia. The exact benchmark table is free below. No email required. And if this comparison has you thinking about the cash you hold today, the cash buffer video on screen is the practical next step.